and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So today I decided that I'm going to mass film so many videos because I feel like I've been missing for so long. I'm probably going to be only uploading about 2 of them today, but definitely keep your eyes peeled. So you're going to have to get used to me looking like this for a little bit, but I'm sure you won't mind. So I have 5 books that I've read recently. I've actually read 6, but that 6th one will have to wait for the next wrap up. But I just felt like sharing with you the last 5 reads that I read. Some of these have been in current vlogs that have already been uploaded, and some of them have not. So a little sneak peek. So the first book that I had to share with you is a huge disappointment for me, and that was Secrets at the Beach House by Diane Chamberlain. This book has been recently republished. This was originally published as Private Relations back in 1989, and this past year it got republished in the UK as Secrets at the Beach House with a brand new cover, and I just had to have it. And I was reading this for the Golden Girls readathon. There was originally another book that I was going to pick up, but then I remember this one had beach in the title, so I was like, oh, maybe I should read this one instead because it's summery. And I did not like this book at all. I gave this 2.5 stars. I don't know if it's just a victim of being one of her first books that she's published or what. But unfortunately, it was a huge letdown. This follows a woman who kind of moves into this beach house with a whole bunch of other roommates. And she is about to start working at this hospital, and this guy who also works at the hospital, he is moving back. He just spent a year or 6 months in France. So she keeps hearing all about him, and she kind of falls in love with him when she meets him, but he is already in another relationship. And there's a whole thing about fertility in here. He's a fertility doctor where he performs these surgeries on pregnant women to try to prevent them from their children from having these disabilities and things like that once they're born. So it's that's kind of thrown in there, which doesn't talk about it on the back at all. But it just felt like these characters kept figurating around each other. They wanted to be together, but then they don't want to be together, but then they want to do this, and then they want to do that. And it just was really all over the place for a really, really long contemporary. This was 480 pages, and it was long for not a lot to happen. Stuff happened, but it just it felt very haphazardly, and I felt like this main character, she just kept having all these awful things happen to her for no real reason. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. And I looked at reviews, and other people who also are Diane Chamberlain lovers like me also didn't love it. So this was a huge, huge disappointment for me. So 2.5 stars. Then, apparently, I really liked Blue. It looks like the next 3 books have blue on them. This is Every 15 Minutes by Lisa Scottline. I've been avoiding this book for a very long time. I almost bought it, and then I didn't buy it, and it kind of haunted me for a while, and then I bought it, and then it's been on my shelf for 2 years because it's super long, and I know that Lisa has a way of drawing out her stories, and I was right. This follows a psychologist, not psychologist, he's a psychiatrist, so not a psychologist, but a psychiatrist. He has a home practice as well as a practice in a hospital, and right now he's going through a divorce, and it's not that nice because there's a daughter involved, unfortunately. And then he starts seeing this patient, and he's starting to figure out that there's something that he feels like he should be reporting. He's not sure. And then a girl ends up turning up murdered, and all of a sudden people start looking at him, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. And I ended up giving this 3 stars. The beginning was really good, and the ending was really good, but the middle was just so dragged out. There was a lot of unnecessary scenes. This could have been condensed so much more. I feel like the hard part with her books is she just has to give all these details that are not necessarily always the most important details. And unfortunately, I didn't really love this one. I'm debating unhauling this. I think I already put it as unhaul on my Goodreads shelf, but I own a lot of other books by her, but this is definitely by far my least favorite of hers. I just felt like this also was, let's see, 430 2 pages. You would never know it looks so much thicker than that, but it was a long book for a mystery thriller type of book, and unfortunately I did not love it. But the ending was shocking, so kind of worth it. Then I was like, okay, I've been reading all these like crappy books. Last week I had like 3 that I was unhauling. This one I've had 2 already again that I haven't liked, so I was like, I need to pick up something that I'm going to love. And I picked up Summer of '69 by Ellen Hildebrand, and I buddy read this with Shelby. I'll link Shelby's channel down below. And we both really enjoyed this book. I have had this for a while because I got it from Book of the Month, but I was waiting for Shelby to get it like the normal release date, which was the 18th. So we decided that we were going to read this last weekend, and guys, I flew through this book. It was so good. I was really nervous about it because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the 60s setting, and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about her taking this like gamble of being kind of a historical fiction, and she bypassed all my expectations. I ended up giving this book 5 stars. This follows a family that goes to Nantucket in the summer of '69. I kind of called it almost like a Brady Bunch-ish type family, which it's not really. It's like a 2-family like merge. So mom was originally married to a man and had Tiger, I don't want to get their names wrong, had Tiger, Kirby, and Blair with this first guy, and then he passes away. She gets remarried and she ends up having Jesse. And so it's kind of this like meshed together family. And it's the summer of '69. Tiger has been officially shipped off to Vietnam. He doesn't enlist. He gets called up. So he gets drafted to go to Vietnam. Blair is home pregnant, ready to basically give birth at any minute. So she tells her parents that she's not going to go to Nantucket, and she's kind of having some issues with her husband right now. And then Kirby decides that she's going to spend the summer on Martha's Vineyard because she just kind of wants to get away and kind of do something else. So she gets a job at a hotel in Martha's Vineyard. And then Jessie, she's 13 years old. She just turns 13 like the day they go to Nantucket, and she does not want to be going to Nantucket. She does not want to be with her grandmother. She just kind of wants to be able to like be 13 and be with her friends and do what she wants to do. And it also follows the mother. So there's lots of things that are going on with this family, and it's just kind of following what it's like during the summer of '69, because summer of '69 was such a huge summer historically, and it definitely has those ties in here. I really enjoyed this book. I can't speak highly enough of it, and I gave this one 5 stars. Then I got nervous because I had one more challenge left for my Golden Girls Readathon, and I only had, I'm sure there's probably secretly a book on my shelf that fits this category, but it was for a book set in Florida, and I was really nervous about reading this book because I've heard mixed things about this series since getting it, but I sucked it up, and I read it anyways, and that is 10 Beach Road by Wendy Wax. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. This is the first book in like a 6-book series, and I ended up enjoying it way more than I thought I was going to, but it definitely, to me, felt like it could have so easily been a standalone, and it would have been fine if it was written if they ended in a different way. It could have been a standalone. The way the author ends it has to be a series, but if the author ended it in tweaked it just a little bit, it could have been easily a standalone, but we'll see. This follows 3 different women, and one way or another, their money that they have is invested with this investment company. Whether it's through their husband did it, or their father did it, or they did it themselves, their money somehow gets wrapped up in this investment company. Unfortunately, this investor turns out to be a huge fraud and is running like a Ponzi scheme, and now is wanted by the law and has stolen all of their money. Many, many victims other than these 3, but these are the 3 victims that we are focused on. And what they try to do is, because they can't get a lot of his money because it is in offshore accounts, they decide that they're going to find like assets that he owns and kind of like give those to the victims in way of compensation for now. So they end up inheriting this mansion in Florida. They each own a third of it. And they get there, and it is completely a disaster. It's a mess. And they have to decide, do we sell as is and just cut our losses? Do we demolish it and sell it, again, cutting our losses? Or do we spend the next summer here together renovating and reflipping this mansion and making so much more money out of it? They decide that they're going to stay and redo this beach house, this mansion, and it's kind of their struggles and tribulations are all going through things because obviously it's a woman's fiction novel, so they're all having either family issues or parent issues, and there's a little bit of romance in here. So there's a lot of things that are going on in this book, and I did enjoy it. I did give it 4 stars. I will eventually continue, I think, with the series, but it's not something that I'm rushing to jump into anytime soon, but I did enjoy it. More than I thought I was going to, that's for sure. And the last book that I have to update you on today is True Love by Jude Devereaux. This is the first book in the Nantucket Brides trilogy, which they are companion novels. Everybody has recommended this to me because of the fact that I love Ellen Hildebrand and I love the Nantucket setting. So they're like, you're going to love this series. And I was really excited because I was like, oh, this is going to be weddings, romance, Nantucket, woohoo! And then it turned out to be paranormal. And I wasn't expecting that. And because of that, I didn't love it. I ended up giving this 3 stars. This follows a girl who ends up moving to Nantucket to live in this guy's house for a year. She doesn't really know why, which doesn't make sense because it's in a will that like she should go and be there for a year, but she doesn't really find out why she's there for like over 100 pages. Everybody else knows why she's there, but she doesn't. And she's a architecture student. She's almost done with school, and she's about to move into this guy's house who is this like world-renowned architect, and he like doesn't want anything to do with her because he feels like she's going to be like this needy student who like fawns over him, and he just like doesn't want to deal with it. So his plan is to escape Nantucket before she can get there, but she gets there early with her friend, and then obviously they end up meeting and he ends up staying and there's some love, but there's also this whole element of ghosts. There's a ghost that lives in this house that he can communicate with, and I believe when she was 4 years old, she was also able to communicate with this ghost, but she doesn't remember that because she had been to this house back when she was 4. But a lot of people have been keeping a lot of secrets from her. Her best friend is getting married, and she's trying to like plan this wedding for her best friend, and they're trying to figure out this family secret. The whole reason why she's on the island is in the will. They say that she should go there for a year to try to figure out, I guess there's a previous ancestor who went missing, and they kind of want her to figure out where she went and like what happened. I don't know. Lots of things that it just felt very like all over the place again, especially for another like 400 and let's see, I feel like it's another 480. No, it's like 460 page book. So again, very all over the place. I own the next 2 books, so eventually I'll read them, but I'm not in any super duper rush to read them, but this wasn't what I was expecting at all, but it was still alright. So those are the last 5 books that I read. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you found something new that you would like to try, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, everybody.